Cool. Big fuck off suitcase. Back man. Right. I'm that fat that I should cover the suitcase. Hopefully that works. Do you know what? That will do. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and it is that time of the year. Yes, that time of the year. It's time for that video. It's the league predictions video. We're on the build-up, the final bit of build-up now to the league campaign starting this weekend, which means it's about time I talk about every team and I talk about who I think will win the Scottish Premiership. We're zooming it out today. You can see I've got a wider view. We need the graphics, we need everything, because we're in for a bumpy ride as I try and predict who will win the Scottish Premiership in the 2022-23 campaign. Boy oh boy, am I ready to be clipped again this season. Before we go any further, if you haven't already, please make sure to hit like and subscribe. It would be much appreciated. We're now over 35,000 subscribers, well on our way to 40,000 subscribers. And remember, if you haven't already, you can enter a giveaway down below to win one of the new Celtic shirts this season of your choice, home or away. The link is in the top line of the description. It will give you instructions on how to enter, and you can find that down there. But enough time wasting. This is a long video, and I know we have neutrals. We have a lot of neutrals, and we'll have a lot of the enemy, won't we? I can see you. I'm looking forward to seeing the comments section. You just fucking calm down, but... In previous years, this video has been obviously a lot of fun. And I talked in the little intro about how I've been clipped in prior years. Last year, I wasn't clipped that much, was I? No, I don't think so. I can't remember being clipped that much at all. Because why? Because, well, things went Celtic's way. And that's the beauty of football, isn't it? We don't know what way it's going to go. The last 2 years, I've been wrong. 2 years ago, I said that Celtic would win the league and Rangers won the league. Last year, I said Rangers would win the league and Celtic won the league. Do you know what the thing is? The beautiful thing and the funny thing is that everybody can look foolish. Even you. You watching this video. It's not just me who makes the videos that can look foolish. It's everybody. Because none of us can predict how it's going to go. For all I know, Celtic could finish 4th. Rangers could finish 12th. Who knows? We'll never know until the end of the campaign. So the last 2 years we've been wrong on either side. This year I'm looking to be right. And I used to be quite good at these back when Celtic were winning the league every year. We think about the Bassey Who moment and predicted Celtic to easily win 10 in a row. There's obviously been things I've said that have been a little bit extreme and they've came back to bite me in the arse. But I don't regret anything. And last year it was fun to watch as I wasn't clipped at all because Ange done it. You know, he defied all expectation. This year, it's about trying to keep that expectation, the new expectation of we never stop. See that? That's the tears of the reaction from last season on this channel. Right, let's get into the predictions because we're going to talk about all 12 teams. I don't want to be here all day. And obviously this is a video that attracts a lot of attention and a lot of the other fans. So I don't want to bore you with my shite patter. Let's get into it. And we're going to do as we always do. Start from the bottom, make our way up to the top. Let's see who I think will be relegated. And let's see who I think will win the Scottish Premiership this season. Right, 12th place, I'm going for Callum Davidson and St Johnstone. What a fall from grace for all of them. Yep, it was only just short, actually, a little bit longer than a year ago. This mob were celebrating a cup double, an unprecedented cup double. It will never be done ever again. It's the greatest moment in the club's history. And now I'm predicting them to finish rock bottom of the table with the same manager, but a very different looking squad. They have lost a lot of their key players from the campaign that saw them win 2 trophies over the course of the last 2 years, and they just simply don't have the capacity, I think, to stay in the league anymore. I'm just thinking of that meme, we don't have the capacity. They really don't, and they've lost even more players in this transfer window. And what have they replaced them with? Shite. You know, they've brought in Considine, they've brought in Jamie Murphy, they've brought in Adam Montgomery on loan from Celtic, which could work out, but you look at the players they've lost over the last couple of years, and it's crazy. And this summer, they've of course lost the likes of Jamie McCart, they've lost Sean Rooney, they've lost Callum Hendry. These are some of their key players, and they're all gone. And last year was disgraceful for a double cup winning side the year prior. I think this could be the end for Callum Davidson this season, and I think it could be the end for St Johnstone this season in the Premiership, because they've just not done enough to improve that side and make a side that's good enough, in my eyes, to stay in the division. Which is just mad to think about. However, Callum Davidson, I think he'll still have a statue and a stand at St Johnstone at one point in his life because, well, no one's going to do what he done ever again at that club, but you just look at them right now and they're not good enough. So I think St Johnstone are going to go down. 11th place, I'm going for Motherwell. Yep, one of the sides who are representing Scotland in European football this season, I am going for Motherwell. They have a couple of days to try and turn things around in Europe. They are currently losing to Sligo Rovers on aggregate. By the time this video is out, it'll be Tuesday night. They play on Thursday night. Who knows? If they go out of Europe, I think they need to strike while the iron is hot, and they need to get rid of Graham Alexander. Like that, like the click of a finger. Things are sour at Motherwell. The fans aren't happy. This is meant to be a fan-owned club, and the fans aren't being listened to. Graham Alexander seems way out his depth. You've seen how they ended last season. Pathetic. Yes, they got into Europe, but it's no excuse for the form that they're on, and it's no excuse to losing to Sligo Rovers. It's embarrassing for Scottish football, but it's embarrassing for Motherwell. Now, the thing is, if they strike when the iron is hot and they get rid of Graham Alexander, if that happens very early on this season, I can genuinely see Motherwell maybe making a bit of a go of it, and I don't think they'll finish as low as 11th. But as I sit here right now, after watching them lose to Sligo, and after looking at the state that they are in at this current moment in time, I don't look at that squad and that side doing very well this season, and I see them struggling big time. How much that could change if Graham Alexander sacked is a mystery. You know, I could sit down in a week's time or 2 weeks' time or whenever he's sacked and maybe change where I think they'll finish. But right now, I can't look above 11th. They've brought in Blair Spittle and Paul McGinn. It's hardly a sparkling transfer window. And it's a side that is looking, I think it needs a major... I don't even know if it needs major renovation. It just needs a major lease of life injected into it. And they're not going to get that from their management team right now. So I'm fearing for Motherwell. They're always one of these clubs that if you predict them high, I feel they finish low, and if you predict them low, they finish high. But this year, I'm pretty certain they'll be down the bottom end. 10th, I'm going for Livingston. Yes, David Martindale, who keeps defying all expectation with that Livy squad this season, similar to almost every season at Livingston, going through a massive turnaround in players. They've lost some big names, and for their squad, they've lost Alan Forrest, they've lost Craig Sibbald. These are guys who are key players for them. They're gone. They've moved on to bigger things. Livingston have also signed, of course, but it's a turnaround in players that how many years can they put up with this? They seem to do it, but how many years can Martindale actually hold on and try and make something out of a side that keeps constantly changing? He seems to be a good motivator. He seems to know what he's doing. He knows the club so well. He's so loved by the supporters and the staff and the other players there. You know, it's always seemed to be done by Martindale, keep them in the division. Will he do it for another season? I think so. Do I see him making it to the end of the season? Could be a different question. Depends how their form goes. I just want rid of the plastic park. I want to see them down in the Championship. It's a good away day for me because I can get tickets to it, but nah, it's no excuse. I want them out of the league. I've made that very clear multiple times on this channel. That was one of the things I was clipped for last season. My views on Livingston Football Club. Terrorists. Football terrorists. Yeah. 9th place, I'm going for St Mirren. And if you've watched this channel long enough, you'll know that I'm like a kind of closeted St Mirren supporter in some way, because I always seem to predict them high, and I always have high hopes for them, and I always want to see them do well. And I think that was mostly down to the fact Jim Goodwin was there for the past few years. But now I look at them with Stephen Robinson, and I don't feel the same motivation or the same optimism that I once had when Goodwin was in charge. I don't think they ended the last season particularly well. And this is a big season for them, but it's hard to judge because it's the first full season with Stephen Robinson. Now, Stephen Robinson done a marvellous job while he was in charge of Motherwell for a number of years. He's came back to the league. It's maybe not got off to the best start, but he's now got an opportunity to put a stamp on St Mirren and do things with his own transfer window, his own squad. And how is he doing that? He's doing it by signing all of the old boys from Motherwell. He's brought back Mark O'Hara. He's brought back Trevor Carson. He's brought back Declan Gallagher. It's really that Motherwell team 2.0 at St Mirren right now. And is it enough to give them an entertaining enough season and finish high enough in the league? I don't know. So I'm going 9th. I think that aside from the bottom three I've spoke about, the bottom half this year could be really close again. You know, it could be really close again. But I'm going to go for 9th for St Mirren. I think that Stephen Robinson is probably in that same conversation as Graham Alexander in terms of how long can he last if things don't go well. You know, I think St Mirren really, it's important they get off to a good start this season to try and, you know, because they were very exciting under Jim Goodwin. I thought they were a good team to watch. I don't think that's been the case with Robinson. I don't know if it will continue to be the case with Robinson. So I think he needs to get a good start this season. In 8th place, I'm going for Ross County. Yes, I don't think they'll make it into the top half 2 years on the bounce. And I think that if it wasn't for Malky Mackay, I'd maybe have Ross County lower than where I've got them right now. I think that the fortunate thing for them is they've got a manager who is as good as Malky Mackay. Now, you can have your opinions on him as a human being. We all do. He's a wanker, of course. But, I mean, he is a good manager. There's no doubt about that. And you've seen that last season. Despite a horrendous start to the league campaign last year, to finish top half was huge for Ross County. And a lot of players had really good form. And that main one was Regan Charles Cook, who's now gone. And I think that's going to hit Ross County hard, not having Regan Charles Cook. Now, they've made a lot of signings, a lot of names that I don't really know about, and they'll be hoping that there is some diamonds amongst them, but it is about holding on and hoping for the best. I feel like they have lost a few players that could make a difference, but Regan Charles Cook being the main one, how will they do Ross County? I think it will be bottom half. But I still think they're a side who will cause a lot of problems this season. I think now we're into this. I say the top 9 a minute ago, but I think these 8 sides, you know, they could be taking a lot of points off each other throughout the course of the season. So I don't think they're down and out, Ross County, but I think they'll struggle in comparison to the last campaign. In 7th, I'm going for Hibs, and for the 2nd consecutive season, I think they'll finish outside the top half. Now, you'll be stunned because I usually always give Hibs a good rap on here, and I usually always predict them to do quite well, but I just look at them and they've not started well at all. That fiasco in the the Premier Sports Cup. We'll get there one day. We'll forget it's not called the Betfred Cup on one occasion. But I look at how that went down with the fielding of an ineligible player and, you know, the disaster that has been the group stages, and I go, is that a sign of things to come this season for Hibs? I genuinely wouldn't be stunned if Lee Johnson gets sacked this season, and I don't even think it's that bad an appointment. If anything, I think Lee Johnson is a decent appointment for Hibs. Some people don't, but I think it's a decent enough appointment. I feel like they've made some decent signings. They've brought in Ewan Henderson permanently from Celtic. They've brought in Aidan McGeady. They've brought in Rocky Bushiri. They've got some other players who've came in. Rocky Bushiri's caused more bad than good so far, but, you know, they've brought in some decent players. They've also lost players, of course. But, you know, I look at the team and I go, right, it should be good enough, but it's just Hibs. And if the carousel continues to go round of managers, you know, and they don't get the opportunity, Sean Maloney never got the opportunity, Jack Ross got more of an opportunity, but I still don't feel like he was trusted enough. I don't see Lee Johnson lasting very long. I'm going to go bottom half for Hibs this season. You might be stunned by that, but I just feel that might be the case. The main thing for me is how much more of a chance will Lee Johnson get over the likes of Sean Maloney, because Sean Maloney came in to try and revolutionise them, to try and do something different, and apparently, according to the Hibs fans on Twitter, that's what Johnson's going to do. He's coming in with this high press. They're going to be pressing players up the park very high. You know, if it doesn't work, how long is it going to get? Mystery. We'll soon see. So that closes out my bottom half and means we go into the top half, and starting this off, I'm going Kilmarnock. Yes, I'm putting Kelly top half on their return to the Premiership. And why? Simply Derek McInnes. There's no denying that Derek McInnes is a very talented manager. Now, things might have fell off a little bit at Aberdeen towards the end of his tenure, but I think Aberdeen fans, and Aberdeen as a club, will be looking back and going, okay, we maybe didn't know how lucky we were. And I look at that Kilmarnock side, and I think it's good enough to challenge for the top half this season. I really do. They've made some good signings. Alan Powell's a thug, but he'll do a job at Kelly. Liam Donnelly, bit of a thug, but he'll do a job at Kelly. You look at Kerr McInroy, yeah, it could be okay. Jordan Jones, decent enough signing for Kilmarnock. You look at the team, Lewis Mayo on loan from Rangers. I think it's a side, with Derek McInnes guiding that team, I think it's more than good enough to challenge for the top half. And of course, I've got Kyle Lafferty up there who'll cause problems throughout the entirety of this season. Yeah, I think Kilmarnock are a side are going to surprise a lot of folk. It could go either way, but it's that manager, it's Derek McInnes, who really tells me, yeah, this is a side to watch this season. They're going to be dangerous. They've, of course, got the plastic surface as well. I just think this could be one of the better returns to the top flight. Of course, Hearts have had a good return to the top flight last season. We've seen teams like Rangers, of course, come up and finish the top 3 in their first season back. But, you know, Kilmarnock aren't the same as a Hearts or Rangers, but I still feel they'll have a good return to the division. In 5th place, I'm going for the Dandy Dons. Yes, I'm going for Aberdeen. Am I maybe being too optimistic for Aberdeen? Have the Kits won me over? Has Jim Goodwin won me over? I don't know. But I'm putting them in the top half. And I don't know for what reason, because last season they were obviously shit. Like, Really shit. And I don't think they showed any significant signs of improvement towards the end. And I don't think in the transfer window they've shown any significant signs of improvement either. They've made a couple of signings that could make big differences to them. They've brought in Liam Scales, of course, from Celtic, and a couple of other guys, from Budapest, and Jayden Richardson from Nottingham Forest. On the way out, though, they've lost some big names. Calvin Ferguson, I was about to say, Calvin Ramsey and Lewis Ferguson, both leaving the club. Two of their best players gone. A lot of money being brought in. That's 9 million quid they've made off of those two alone, basically. And they've yet to invest it particularly well. Now, will they make more signings before the start of the season, or before the end of the window at least? Surely they will, because the money's there to do it with. But I don't know. I just have faith in Goodwin. The thing is about Aberdeen, and they had a good squad last season. They've still got a good squad. And it's a squad that should be finished in the top half. It's just about finding the confidence again, finding the form again. And if Goodwin can do that, and I believe he can with a full, his full pre-season, his full transfer window, and a full season to work on it, I think that Jim Goodwin can show why he's a good manager and why he's been tipped with jobs like that, and the reason he's in that job in the first place. So I'm confident for Aberdeen this season to finish top half. I just feel like they're nowhere near yet the level of the top 4 sides. Or especially the 3rd and 4th place sides, I should say. So is this where it gets sort of controversial? I'm going to have a certain section of fans kill me for this one. But in 4th place, I'm going for Hearts. Yes. Convincing 3rd place sitters last season. There was no competition for them. They were in a league of their own. They weren't good enough to challenge with the top 2. And they were too good to be down battling for 4th and 5th. Hearts had 3rd place all to themselves. And I can't remember who it was at Hearts exactly was talking about their ambitions and their optimism for one day to challenge for the league title. And people will laugh at that, but what's the point in existing if you don't set goals to try and get better and try and get to a point where you are challenging? So you think to yourself, Ryan, why have you got them in 4th then? I think they've lost a really good player in John Souttar, first of all, which is going to be hard to sort of replace. They have made signings, of course. They've made some good signings. Lawrence Shankland coming in, Alan Forrest, as we said, coming in. But I don't know. I just feel like losing Souttar and I don't know, second season syndrome since coming back up, if you want. I think at 4th place is still an incredibly successful season for Hearts. So to get them European football, it's only their 2nd year back from the Championship. Maybe it would be disappointing to slip a place, but I don't know. I just have a feeling they're not going to be as good as what they were last season. It's about making Tynecastle a fortress, taking points off the big boys there as often as they can. Like, of course, they beat Celtic in the opening game of the season. They need to do things like that to get 3rd again. And I don't know. I just don't feel like they're going to be as successful at doing it this season. I don't know why. I've just got a feeling down there. And I think that Adam Kennedy on TSF has convinced me that the side that I've got in 3rd will finish above them. I don't know. I just don't see them following up as well as they did last season. They looked so flat in that cup final. See, that cup final, they looked so flat. And they've brought in a striker. They needed to bring in a striker. They had to do that. They've brought one in Shankland. Will he finally deliver to the expectation that he had when he first came to the division with Dundee United? I don't know. I'm not so sure. I'm really not. So that's why I've got him in 4th. I know the Hearts fans are going to love that. Don't worry, I hate you too. So who do I think will finish above them? In 3rd place, I've got Rangers. Your heart sank a wee bit there. Rangers fans watching it sank just a little bit. No, I've got Dundee United in 3rd place, who have, of course, went through a massive change in this summer. I'm not talking about the new badge. I'm talking about Jack Ross coming in and Tam Courts going out. Nobody really seen it coming, but Tam Courts moving away. He's away abroad. Goodbye. And Jack Ross has came in a move that Dundee United will now have a little bit. Hibs will be thinking to themselves, maybe we made the wrong decision to get in the first place. I think Jack Ross is going to do a really good job with Dundee United, and I think they've made 2 great signings on top of a team that was already really good, and a team that showed that last season, of course. They've brought in Stephen Fletcher, and they've brought in Dylan Levitt. Now, I know Fletcher's ageing a little bit, and I give him it stinking on every given opportunity, but playing for a club like Dundee United, I think will be good for him. And I think he'll be good use to them as well. And Dylan Levitt is a fantastic sign. Of course, they had him on loan, but they've got him permanently. I think that's going to be a great boost for the club. Jack Ross, I think, will love having a player like him. I just feel really hopeful for Dundee United. I really do. Of course, they've lost their shot stopper in Benjamin Siegrist, who's now joined Celtic. But it's a side that I look around. They've got quality. I think they'll play. I thought Tam Courts was doing a really good job at playing decent football with them and making them a better team. But now, I think that they're going to play even better with Jack Ross. I know things didn't really go well at Hibs, but he's certainly a good man. There's no denying that Jack Ross is a talented guy and a good manager. So I think Dundee United are going to go for that third place finish this season. I really, really do. Hearts fans, once again, I know you hate me, but I hate you too. Which brings us to the part that you've all been waiting for. Yes. Last year, I kept you waiting. I said that I got to this point. I said, we'll talk about this tomorrow. I'm not doing that this year. Don't worry. We're not. I think that there will, in the podcast and everything else, we will touch on it in a lot more depth. And for the sake of this video, I'm probably not going to get to explain my points as thoroughly as I would like. But I will try and touch on things as well as I can and as expansive as I can through this video. But second and first place, who do I think will win the league? Who do I think will be runners up? Well, let me just get it off my chest straight away and I can discuss why. And I think you can guess by now, obviously, what I'm going to say. If you're a Celtic fan, you'd be disappointed if I didn't say it. And as a Rangers fan, you'd be that naive to think I wouldn't say it. I think that Celtic will win the league this season. Do I think it will be a convincing league win? Do I think that Rangers have no chance? Absolutely not. Of course not. I think this could be... We spoke about this on TSF. I think that this year is the first year since 2012, 2011 maybe. I think this is the first year out of all of them that it is proper unpredictable to say who will win the league. And I say that because in 2020, everybody was predicting Celtic for 10 in a row. Rangers win the league. In 2021, everybody was predicting Rangers to win the league because Ange Postecoglou had just came in, there was no chance, but Celtic won the league. And this year, nobody knows really who to predict. If you support Celtic or Rangers, of course you've got to predict your own team, but I think that beyond that, it's a really difficult conversation. But I think Celtic will do the job again with Ange Postecoglou this year. Everything is just perfect at Celtic at the moment. And I think that Rangers are going through a very similar sort of experience as what we did last year. This is Gio's first season, of course. Nobody expected at the start of last campaign Gerrard to leave, Gio to come in, and Rangers to go through the renovation now that they are. But that's the case. They are going through it. Rangers are going to be a kind of different looking side this year. They've lost some of their biggest players. They of course lost Nathan Patterson back in January, who was obviously in and out the team, but was still a key player. They've lost Bassey, Aribo this window, two of their biggest players, and they've brought in a lot of new faces. Just to run through the transfers very quickly: Ridvan Yilmaz from Besiktas, Ben Davis, Tom Lawrence, John Suter, Antonio Kolak, Rabbi Matondo, Mark Tillman, and then a couple of younger guys as well, Zach Lovelace and Bailey Rice. But a lot of signings there. Like Celtic last season, I don't think that the job at Rangers, the renovation at Rangers, is anywhere near as big as what Celtic's was last season, but it's certainly a big change. And that gives you a hint of the unexpected, just like there was with Ange Postecoglou. So I don't really know what to expect from Rangers this season in terms of challenging Celtic to win that title back. But what I do know is Celtic are in a very good position. Celtic have retained two of their key players from that league winning side, that double winning side. They've brought in Jota and Cameron Vickers permanently, but they've also made a lot of good, smart business outside that. They've improved in the left back area that they had to do. They've brought in depth. They've brought in a second choice keeper. They've brought in Aaron Moy. They've brought in other I fucking forget names off the top of my head now. They've brought in Moritz Jens. They've improved on what they had to do, but we know we've got such a good side, which is already league-winning quality. So there is a hint of the unknown with Rangers, and there is a side that Celtic have only improved on with them that is going to make this a very interesting battle to the very end. However, I just feel that Celtic have got the edge in Rangers in so many departments right now, and one of them is just, you know, that general drive of positivity. So nothing's wrong at Celtic at the moment. And I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong at Rangers. It would be unfair for me to suggest that. They're just off the back of a Europa League final, the Scottish Cup win. Absolutely no reason to be complaining over at Rangers front. But right now, and I mean this, in my lifetime, there hasn't been a feeling like this at Celtic. There hasn't been an atmosphere like this at Celtic. We're all driven behind this one leader in Ange Postecoglou, and it's like nothing can go wrong. Of course, it can go drastically wrong at any point, but right now, I just find it hard to look past this Celtic side and not give them the confidence or the optimism that they deserve of becoming league winners once again. But as I said, I think it will be a very, very long season. I think we'll be on the edge of our seats a lot. I think we'll be getting a lot of grey hairs. And Rangers could give us as much of a challenge to us this season as they did last season. Look, Celtic were behind for a large portion of last year. We finally overtook Rangers. We took advantage of silly drop points from Gio's side. European football may have caught up with Rangers as time went on, and we won the league in dramatic fashion when we had no right to win the league, some said. This year, it's a very different tone going into it, and I'm just excited to see how it goes. Those derby games are going to be magic. Absolutely magic. I cannot wait to watch them, but I am putting Celtic on right now as my pick to win the league. Yeah, but bring it on. What a season it's going to be. And that does it for the most anticipated video of the year on the Ryan118 channel. I've given you the predictions that you all could have predicted without watching the video. Some of you have skipped to the end just to see who I've said will win the league, and you're probably not surprised at all. But if you've clicked the video, that's all that matters. That's going to do it from me today. As I said, there's so much more I can go in depth to talk about. And on that note, make sure to check out the Talk Scottish Football channel. We had the season preview podcast last week. We'll have another podcast previewing this weekend out this week. The Celtic, the Thunder will be back this week. We'll talk about it a lot more in depth. And generally, there'll just be more videos on this channel this week where I'll talk about the season coming up and previewing that in itself. But from today's video, that'll do. Right? That'll do. Right? Cheerio. Bye. Like and subscribe.